I'd like to call to order the City of Saugatuck City Council meeting for Monday, November 24th, 2025. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Jamie, Sarah, will you call the roll, please?
Sure. Anderson.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Dean.
Here.
Gardner.
Here.
Muncy.
Here.
Peterson. Here. And Stanton.
Here. We have a quorum. Quick comments tonight. Just a huge thank you to the CVB and our DPW crew for all the holiday lights. It just looks great and so nice to all get to accept that check this evening. I dialed into the beginning of Douglas's city council meeting tonight and am happy to report that Kathy North and Randy Walker have been reappointed to their slots. I think that's all I've got right now. Brian.
Well, thank you and good evening, council. I know I saw all of you last Wednesday and I was a little under the weather, so I appreciate you bearing with me, being less than 100% at that meeting. But my first regular meeting with since the election, I want to congratulate all of you who were reelected to the council and look forward to continuing to work with all of you on the council. Really appreciate serving with all of you. Just kind of a few highlights from my report. As you know, we have a lot of projects in the works, some of them very big projects. The biggest one we're working at right now is the Maple Street project. Our engineers have those plans at about 90%. So we kind of have some final meetings to take a look at those plans and make sure everything's good to go before things go out to bid. They're close to receiving their Eagle permit. And FNV tells me that we're on track to still kind of go out to bid in mid-December here and still on track for construction in 2026, which is really exciting to see that project continuing to move along and see some dirt moving. Hopefully in the spring would be welcome news. So there's some really great news to report. As far as kind of next steps with Park Street and kind of taking a look at some conceptual designs and doing some further community engagement and developing some cost estimates and landscape architecture. We, as you may recall, applied for a grant last December with Eagles Coastal Management Program to cover half of the cost of that kind of next step and further study and planning. Happy to report that we received notice that we did in fact receive those grant dollars. So that's $20,000 towards a $40,000 next step of a project. And so you should see the actual grant agreement coming forth to a future meeting here soon. And then we will be able to kick that work off here in 2027. So that's a big step and kind of really diving back into Park Street, which hasn't been done in quite some time, and great to have some grant dollars covering a good chunk of that cost as well. So as you see from your capital improvement plan, Elizabeth Street is kind of next up as far as needing design, and then construction is planned, at least with the capital improvement plan, in 2027. And in order to really hit that date, we got to get that engineering work done. So your Public Works Department and engineers met a couple weeks ago out there and walked the area and are working on an engineering proposal, which you should see forthcoming as well. As you saw probably from my report in your packet, the Mount Baldhead restroom construction is really coming along. It's fantastic to see the actual brick on there. It really kind of gives it life to see the roof on there, and I think it's turning out great. Looks great. So really excited to see that continuing to come along, and for the most part, we're on track with that. Other than that, I think I'll leave it there and wish everybody, since this is my only opportunity, I guess, in the meeting to provide formal comments, a very happy Thanksgiving, and hope everybody has safe travels and really enjoys the time with family and friends.
Thanks, Ryan. Any questions for Ryan on his report?
Mayor Anderson, I have a few questions, but I'll cover it under when we go hit staff reports.
Okay,
That's all right.
all right. Okay, that takes us to any agenda changes, additions or deletions, anything from anyone? All right, no guest speakers, so this takes us to the first public comment period, which is on agenda items only, so anyone in the room wish to speak to anything that's on the agenda, come to the podium?
Keep correspondences, how does?
Yes, well, yeah, it's in the packet, so yes, all right.
Uh, So I don't want to repeat or read aloud what I already submitted in the packet. Sorry, Chad DuPont, Stugatuck. I know this isn't a time for discussion, so I just would love to figure out how to move the conversation forward to actually have a discussion with you all about the changes that I proposed, that I emailed you, that I spoke about at the first council meeting 2 weeks ago. I mean, I'm gonna keep coming. I've gotta figure something out here, and it's feeling incredibly unfair, and I don't even know the next step. I don't know what I can do to have a conversation. So that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm still requesting, and thank you again.
So it's
Thank
not
you, Chad.
typically a discussion, but in the packet tonight, in the city manager's report, he does provide a recap of next steps on STRs. We're tentatively targeting January 7th workshop meeting. We'll have the year-end data. And, your concerns and other questions, everything that has come in the last several months.
You say that's already on the agenda for the January 7th workshop?
We're planning that. I
Oh,
mean,
you are?
and that's in tonight's packet, so you'll see that there. Yeah. Anyone online wish to make a public comment? All right, close public comments and go to the consent agenda, which begins on page 3. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move we accept the consent agenda as provided. Second.
Any questions, comments? Okay, it's a roll call vote.
Anderson,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Muncy,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
and Stanton.
Yes. Motion carries. Takes us to staff reports. We've heard from Ryan. Boards and commissions, Dan is not with us tonight. Yes?
And Mayor, I have a couple of comments regarding the city manager's report. Want to look into, thanks for the CIP, looking forward to see the enhanced plan. Excited about Mr. Herbert getting his, what was it called, the Asset management.
champion.
Yeah. So I think that'll be a really good thing for us to see that. You mentioned there's a number of major CIP projects, Maple Street, Park Street, Elizabeth Street, lead pipe replacement. Each one of those are going to be multi-million-dollar projects. The lead pipe replacement project, I've heard there's different numbers that we've heard in our conversations with the city engineer. That could be, $16 to $20 million, maybe. We just don't know what we're dealing with in terms of road replacement when that work is done, as well as pipe replacement, et cetera. Where I'm going with this is, I think we need to start talking sooner rather than later, what this financing is going to look like down the road. We've got a healthy fund balance, our city's in good financial shape. However, we're talking multi-million-dollar projects that we really need to be concerned about to get done and get done timely, but also finance these, whether that comes out of the general fund revenue, whether that comes out of bonding or some other funding mechanism. I really think we're at the point now where we really need to tighten down our finances. We need to be sure that we're spending the money where it needs to go to support these projects. So I'd like to have some discussion around that with the treasurer too. And maybe the CIP is the place to talk about this, but I'm getting very concerned that the city is going to be put under some financial strain with the number of the projects that I'm hearing about. So I just put that out there for thought. Short-term rentals, I thank Mr. DuPont for being here this evening and the letter in our packet. I'm looking forward to seeing that report from Granicus. Thank you for facilitating that. And at the workshop meeting on the 7th, I think we do need to evaluate the current ordinance, excuse me, particularly as it relates to generational ownership changes, which I think, in my opinion, should be allowed, and service issues we've been having with paperwork and applications resulting in owners losing their licenses. So I'll be bringing that up for discussion at the meeting on the 7th. Also, White Alley, it's interesting that, sorry, I'm not sure why I'm out of breath. it's interesting that they decided to go to court with that. I don't know, this has been an ongoing issue with White Alley. I'm not sure why it's called White Alley. But, this has been an ongoing issue with a number of the property owners there over the years, so there might be some the reason I mentioned this, there might be some information in some of our documents that the city clerk has been digitizing that might help get some background on this, because it has come up quite often in the past. Also too, on the bathrooms, I've had a chance to be over at Bald Head a few times in the past week. The bathrooms look great. One thing that is kind of striking me about the bathrooms is not only how nice they look, but I think we need to be very careful about the aesthetics of the building over there. I know there's been some discussion about putting signage. There has to be signage on there for men's, women's, informational signs. So I suggest you go over there and look at it. The rustic look it has in conjunction with the pump house building, less is more over there, and to keep with the rustic sense of the park. So I just put that out there as I've been going over there and seeing the construction taking place. It really strikes me how nice the building looks, but also we should keep it very simple in terms of any signage that we want to put up over there, because it would detract, in my opinion, from the rustic look of the place. So that's my comment.
I could, Mayor, just maybe
Yeah.
a couple things on the White Alley piece, even if somebody comes to the city and asks for a right of way to be vacated, assuming we were to say, yes, we agree with that via resolution, they still would have to file the same complaint with the court. Unfortunately, in order to change the plat, that's what's required. And, White Alley was in the plat. I mean, so this goes back to, a long time ago. So I'm not sure how much we'll be able to find historically. I know there's prior concerns that go, back related to, plowing and whether or not there's encroachments that are,
That's what I'm
but-
suggesting, might be some records that could be looked at, not original plat information, but discussions at the council level about White Alley over the years.
Yeah, well, certainly we're gonna, have a discussion with the city council on how you wanna proceed with, this request to vacate through the court, and whether we wanna oppose that, try to retain your utility easement, or don't have any opposition to it at all. So certainly more to come soon on that. And then as far as the signage on the new restrooms, in fact, the original plans had kind of like a display case for like maps and signage. We removed that from the plans before it went out to bid because if something was going to go on the side, and that's an if, right? Maps, whatever it needed to be, it really needed to be, the right thing. And I thought it needed to be more than a simple like display case or something along those lines. So we took that off and basically discussed that, if there's going to be signage there in the future, we can have a discussion about what that looks like down the road. So certainly we would circle back to, have those discussions at a later point.
Good, thank you.
Any other questions for Ryan? Okay, Dan is not here for the fire district report. There is some information in the packet. And if there are questions, we can you shoot them to Ryan and we can get them to Dan. Interurban Board, Gregory?
Again, our ridership is up for October, about 9% almost from last year. Exciting news. We're partnering with the Community on Aging rides right now, and we're providing medical rides that are outside of our area within our urban. So folks that need to get, and people have been using them to get outside for their doctor's appointments, as far as, Holland, or South Haven, other regions that are outside of this area, and they are reimbursing us a per hour fee for that right now. We've also requested for an operations manager. Our current operations manager had to was not able. We're not sure she's able to return to full-time capacity for personal reasons, and so we're looking to hire an operations manager to help out with Becky and do some things there around the office as it's been growing. We finally have a timeline. I've been talking, about a year and a half about our capital grant, and we finally have a timeline of the construction. So what we'll have is a temporary trailer that'll be on the property where dispatch will be working out of, as well as Becky.
while they're working on the building. Our meetings are tentatively going to be at the new Douglas City Hall. They invited us if we're interested. They'll either be there or the library. We haven't decided yet, but I'm likely to be at the new Douglas City Hall. So I'm excited about that. They have great facilities
Yeah, it's a
there.
great, it's a great
And
new
it makes me
space.
jealous when I walk in there. The site prep is going to start the first week of next month of December. And completion, the final paint and completion should be around the middle of February, end of February. So they'll be working on it throughout the winter, and super excited about it. The board discussed using some of our funds. We do have a good fund balance as well. We're very responsible with that. And so we've asked Becky to come up with a kind of like a wish list of things that the office needs improvement on as far as furniture goes. You should see the old furniture that we're using. We're using used furniture that we got from the township when they remodeled, which was old to begin with. And I don't know if you've been to a meeting there or you've seen our facilities, you could tell that we could use a little bit of zhuzhing, and also the kitchen area. There's a little bit of updating that could be done there. So Becky's going to give us a short list, and we're going to work with our budget. There's a possibility. Hayworth has a donation program going on right now. So there's a possibility that we can get not a grant, but a donation from Hayworth for some of the office furniture that we need. So super excited about that. So hours of operation right now are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. throughout the week, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. on weekends.
Great, thanks, Gregory.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Gregory, two quick questions. The first is, how many buses run during the day on an average?
We've got about eight
Okay.
that are on the road on average.
Every day.
Uh-huh.
So if one of them has to go over to take somebody to another county or anything, it won't cause any holdup with people from our area getting.
Not right now, this time of year.
Okay.
So it's a program that we just started. If we continue throughout the summer, yeah, that will be a challenge. So.
Okay, thanks.
It depends on, the appointment. Sometimes, the rider will stay out in that area. If it's an appointment that's of course going to last more than a couple hours, or the rider has to be out there for more than a couple hours, then the driver will come back here and then go back and pick them up. So the COA, Center of Aging, or the group for aging that we're working with on this, they pay us a regular rate of $37 per hour per bus is the charge that we usually charge folks when they want to use interurban, when we have the availability to use a bus for like events, like things like, when Liz Engel for Music in the Park, when she pays for that, that's kind of like the going rate to rent one of those when we have them available, about $37 an hour. So.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Joe, Cal Lake Sewer and Water.
Yeah, no report tonight, Madam Mayor. Our next meeting's on the 4th.
Okay. Chris, anything new?
Nope.
Okay. No ZBA Russ Historic District? Oh, it's, pardon? Oh,
Well-
that's right. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's right.
Well, actually,
Switch.
Councilman Gardner could report on the previous meeting,
All right.
if there is anything, because I haven't attended one yet. First one for me is December 6th.
Okay.
December 4th.
Russ, was there anything from the?
No, I updated from the last meeting.
All right,
so,
well,
At the last,
let's slide right
council
into
meeting.
planning commission.
Sure. Planning Commission met this past Thursday. We had a lot of business that we had to discuss. New business one was we approved a accessory dwelling unit for use as a short-term rental at 610 Lake Street. That is for CJ Badrak and Kimberly Badrak, and he abstained, but that passed 6-0. The two items we spent most of our time on was on 510 Butler, which is the Maplewood. We had a public hearing for special land use and site plan review.
Sorry. Wickwood.
Wickwood, sorry, what did I say?
Maplewood.
Maplewood, sorry, Wickwood. Site plan review for service of alcoholic beverages. And what seemed initially as a fairly straightforward discussion and seeming approval turned into quite a bit of discussion around what type of license, liquor license, a bed and breakfast will need from the state. So we had a representative, I think the CFO, I don't recall his name, was at the meeting, and the commission spent a lot of time discussing the different types of licenses that a bed and breakfast could qualify for, what licensing bed and breakfast need to serve alcohol. There's some clarification that all B and Bs, in order to even serve alcohol complimentary, need to have a license of some kind. So that was a discussion as well. And basically where this all came down to, with a lot of AI assistance and just kind of try to educate ourselves, is that we did not approve the application. However, we did make a motion to postpone this with this information. So for 510 Butler and 120 Mary, which is Mark Beckon's old house, for up to 60 days with the following conditions: that they provide a copy of any licensing material submitted to Michigan Liquor Control Commission. Ultimately, if there's a application for a permit, city council needs to ultimately approve it. So even with the discussion, the person that was here from from Wickwood, it was unclear exactly what kind of license they needed to apply for. They had initially put resort license in their application, which it turns out is not the appropriate type of license for a bed and breakfast. So that is one stipulation. 2 is to have the definition of what a bed and breakfast is with alcohol service. 3 is to define what their alcohol license is, and the city attorney will be assisting with that process. And then 4 is to present an understanding of the zoning expectations with regard to being a bed and breakfast. And 5 is the applicant is to present an understanding of the zoning conditions with who will be served, where they will be served, and when they will be served on the premises. There's been some concern that Wickwood was, and again, I don't want to assume what direction they're moving in, but the presentation was made in such a way that there was some concern from the planning commission that this wasn't just simply an opportunity to serve, alcohol to the people, the guests that are actually staying there, but to potentially serve alcohol for events, which stretch the definition of a bed and breakfast. Most bed and breakfasts don't have events. They're for guests to, enjoy the premises. Not that there aren't events at bed and breakfast, but it started to stretch the definition of kind of what bed and breakfasts are, what resorts are, what motels are. So that's where we spend a lot of our time. And with that postponement for 60 days gave enough information for the applicant to go back and do some work on this, as well as get some assistance from our city attorney to define the liquor license aspect of it. So what seemed like a pretty simple discussion turned into probably about a 45-minute to an hour discussion on this. And with 3 attorneys on the, plus 4th online, it took a bit of figuring out exactly what direction we're going in. And we thought that the postponement was an appropriate step to take for the situation. And then we spent quite a bit of time on signage. The attorney and the planning commission have been working on updating our signage ordinance. So a lot of good discussion around that, but I did want to do a straw poll of the council, and I told the commission I would do this. One of the items that's under consideration is for signs in the right of way. And you may recall that the city council gets several requests a year for approving signs in the public right of way. The way that the ordinance is being considered to be rewritten is it's being recommended that right-of-way permits should be reviewed and what standards would apply. And for example, would permits be reviewed and granted administratively by the zoning administrator, or would it require a more robust approval process? And my position as a commissioner, as a council member, as I said, I think it's important for the council to approve these right-of-way sign requests because it's public access, it's public property. The council or the commission agreed with that. But then one of the things here is that we could do this where if someone requests a public right-of-way sign, that it gets reviewed and then it gets brought to council for approval. And then the question is, do you want a yearly approval, which is the current process, or would a one-time approval be sufficient for the council? And then going forward, if the sign is put exactly in the same space, same size the following year, it would not require another right-of-way approval from the council. That seemed to me to be reasonable, to not have to come back every year for that approval. So I just want to do a straw poll of the council. Do you feel that it would be needed to come back every year or just once, and then the zoning administrator would have responsibility for maintaining compliance with the original request as well as the zoning ordinance?
What would unintended consequences be of a one-time approval?
What would the consequences be of a one-time
Unintended consequence.
unintended consequences? Well, there's a lot of signs in the public right of way every year. So you could have a situation where the zoning administrator maybe for whatever reason didn't catch it or it wasn't brought to his attention. That could be an unintended consequence. I mean, someone So that could happen. I can't think of any others that might cause a problem for the city. I think administratively, in my opinion, it makes sense to do it once and then have the zoning administrative responsibility for continued compliance.
The only thing I would wonder is timing wise, if there's multiple events and there's too many signs that are trying to go there, and I know that would go through the clerk and I can't, that's the only thing that I could think of that could be where you might have 3 or 4 events at the same weekend or along the same time, and maybe there's too many. Is there a chance that that might happen?
Well, I think event temporary signage is covered under a different portion of the zoning
Okay.
code. So that would come as a part of an event application that we see. This is for signs that would be like a sandwich board that would be in the public right of way, or a sign that actually is hanging over a building that's in the public right of way.
Okay.
Things of that nature.
So would it be set up in such a way that it's an auto renewal, or what's to differentiate what you're describing from being a permanent approval?
You know, that's a great question. We didn't talk about whether the applicant would have to come back every year for administrative approval, and I'll note that because that's a good question.
Yeah, because if the zoning changes and it's considered a permanent approval by somebody, then we're stuck with it, right?
Yeah, well, we did talk about that because if the sign ordinance changes, then that request would have to be revised and would have to come back. But you bring up a good question as to whether that constitutes a permanent approval.
Right.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the workload would be, if it would be enlarged or monitored down if we did do it just once a year. But for me, I like to have it go through so that when I see the sign out in the public right away, I know that it's supposed to be there because I looked at it. But to go drive down and signs pop up and I'm gonna go, I wonder if we had approval for that kind of thing. So I like to know.
Yeah, I have a hard time sort of weighing in on the fly. I guess, because I haven't had so.
This is not a final decision. I just said I would take a straw
Yeah.
poll. And this will be eventually be coming to council for approval.
I mean, directionally, if we're being thoughtful on what we approve in the first place, what comes to mind is the sign for the Water Street merchants or over in the Village Square Park. That's very nicely done. It's about the right size. It doesn't really get in the way, I wouldn't need to see that every year for approval. But then again, I'd also want the council to have the ability, if things did get out of hand,
Pull it back.
to
Right.
pull things back. So that would be, right now, the compliance is good. I mean, most of the signs I've seen have been, I think, in keeping with, the small town charm, they're very, and the things that overhang, they're all, everyone's doing a nice job, but I would like to have the optionality if we do have a problem, that we have a vehicle to deal with it quickly if need be. So that's.
That help?
No, it did. It does. Yeah, because this eventually will come to council for approval
Yeah.
and review. So I just told them that I would just kind of get a sense of where folks are on this. And I think I get a sense that we'd like to make things administratively simpler for our staff, but we also want to make sure that we maintain control over this as well. That we don't have things that, and I don't think we've had a problem. I think it was very interesting because you mentioned the sign over at the southwest corner of the Village Square. Several of the planning commissioners didn't know that sign was there. And then they asked if it had been approved, and I said, yes, the city council had approved that as a special, good Lord, what's it called? Anyway, right-of-way exception. And then that presumably something like that would, once it was approved in this scenario, would consider to be approved, same placement, same size sign, year in and year out. If that didn't change, there's no need for it to come back here.
Russ, what problem are you trying to solve with this?
Trying to make this administratively simpler for the staff, so they don't have to prepare to have right-of-way signage come to the council more than once.
Okay.
One last question. Was there any discussion around the whole concept of not being able to discriminate based on content of signs?
That is.
So if the sign's approved and all of a sudden something is put up there
That's a great question. That was discussed briefly. The ordinance is written in such a way that the content of the sign is not considered. It's just the size and placement.
as long as this kind of gets sort of ties to the whole auto renewal or whether it's considered permanent, right? Because if the content changes, we can't technically pull the sign. But right now, they have to reapply every year. You know what I'm saying? And you could deny the application for no stated reason. So-
What, if you have enough to go on, why don't we, since we're
Sorry.
gonna, this is.
No, it's a good conversation. So this is why I
Okay.
brought it here.
Great. Anything else for us?
No, thank you. Our next meeting is on December 18th at 6:30 PM.
Awesome. Lauren, PBW.
We meet tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Great. Tri-community non-motorized, anything new there?
No report.
All right, water system operations contract, who wants to provide a report on that?
Well, we continue to have meetings. We just had another one on Thursday, Friday. So we're working through, got a big list of comments that I think we've kind of finalized. We'll go back to the consultant.
Okay. And any wildlife updates?
Committee sunsets in December, so the staff can remove that agenda item.
Great. That was, I think
Jackie
we
just
approved
approved
that.
today,
We
yeah.
approved
Oh, we did. It wasn't there. Okay,
Future
sorry.
agendas on it.
Sorry.
Come off and parking, task force.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Parking task force.
Okay,
Sorry, I missed that.
that takes us to approval of accounts payable. Would someone like to make a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $160,474.24.
Second.
Any questions? All right, it's a roll call vote.
Anderson.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Dean.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Muncy.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
And Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries. No public hearings or unfinished business. New business, the resolution adopting the city council schedule of meetings for 2026. Can I get a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to pass resolution 251124-A, adopting city council schedule of meetings for 2026.
Second.
Questions, comments?
I think she was asking for if you wanted to move those dates
Oh, okay. Yeah.
for holidays. It looks like May 26th and October 13th were the adjusted dates.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the resolution that Councilmember Muncy made a motion to approve would be the next secular day. So it would be May 26th, which is a Tuesday, and then October 13th, which would be a Tuesday. So
Okay.
I see that. So I'll go ahead and move to approve resolution 251124-A, establishing the city council meeting schedule for the year 2026, including the secular date adjustments of May 26th and October 13th.
Second.
All right. It's a roll call vote.
Anderson.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Dean.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Muncy.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
And Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Takes us to the second public comment period. Anyone can comment on anything. It doesn't have to be on the agenda. Anyone in the room wish to make a comment?
So first of all, I wanted to say, Jan Cohen Douglas, sorry, I always forget that. We had a great event here on Saturday. It was wonderful. We got a lot of applause through town as we walked through, and it was a single file march with the signs of fascism, and each sign depicted a different thing about fascism that we can see happening in our country now. And it's to create awareness so that people get an aha moment. We had a lot of applause throughout town and a lot of fist pumping and thumbs up. And then a bunch of people gathered around us at the end, right here in front of Town Hall. We started here and went about 10 blocks down the side streets and then back around again, and had a lot of great comments. We did not get one negative comment, so I thought that was really good. We had very much the same response in Douglas when we did it the week before, so it was very, very good. We're going to do it in Fenville in 2 weeks. We're skipping this coming week, and I'll let you know of the schedule after that. I'm sure we'll be back again. The other thing is that on Friday night during our chalk drop, Councilman Muncy magically showed up, and this time it was much calmer. He just happened to be there, and I thought he was somebody else, so I was saying, "I'm sorry, you can go ahead." And then I looked at him and I saw it was him, so we said hello and exchanged words. And then he said, "If you want to talk, we can sit down." And I said, "We're right here, right now. Let's do it." And he said, no, 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 we should sit down. But then we started kind of engaging in conversation anyway. And he clarified a couple of things for me. He was wanting to talk about what had actually taken place out front here several weeks ago. And I pointed out to him that what he was saying wasn't the truth and that he actually posted it on social media afterwards. And then he changed that and he said, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I said, before you back yourself into a corner here, I should tell you that I have screenshots of all of those, and I'm sure they have the metadata in them to show exactly when I took them. And your posts say edited. So it's clear that you went in and changed them. And he said, oh, I know what you're talking about now. And I told him what I was talking about the slanderous things that he said about me in the post. And he said, well, I talked to the leader of the other group that had told me. I said, Erin Wilkerson. And he said, yes. And he said, and she apologized to me and said she should have never told me that stuff about you because it wasn't true. So I appreciate that he threw Erin under the bus. I already knew it, though, because I'd heard it from many other people around town in the last month or more. But anyway, I appreciated.
I think we didn't start the timer. I think we're getting close to 3 minutes. So if you can wind up, that'd be great.
Yes, I appreciate that Councilman Muncy talked to me in a much kinder fashion, and we were able to talk about these things. And I would like to know what next steps you would like me to take. I do have all of the screenshots from everything, and this week they publicly posted, Holly, that you and I are best friends, and that's why I'm allowed to chalk here.
Okay. I think we have reached 3 minutes.
Okay.
Thanks, Jan.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Anyone online wish to make a comment? All right. Seeing none, we'll close public comments. Chad was here, referenced his correspondence, which I'm sure you've all read by now, which takes us to council comments. Lauren, you want to start?
Yeah, I look forward to the tree lighting ceremony on Friday. So hopefully everyone can make it out to that. It's always a great event and it's always well attended. A lot of people show up for that because it's the kickoff of the holiday season. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yeah. We've had a lot of fun lighting the tree over the years, haven't we? I've been a part of that event for over 20 years, and then used to facilitate it myself. This will be the first year that I won't be here because I'm going to be a place a little bit warmer, a little
Good for
bit
you.
south, and taking a little vacation with some other projects I'm working on. I also wasn't able to be in the Christmas Carol this year, so I'm kind of missing those things. And but I'm glad that the projects I'm working on, and of course the vacation, I think is much needed. I think a lot of folks around here know I don't take a vacation that often, maybe every 3 to 4 years. So I'm looking forward to getting a little bit of warmth, and I'll be homesick after 3 or 4 days. I usually am when I go out of town. Yeah, I did want to mention that. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Also wanted to mention, if anybody's listening, and I talked about it on the show, if you're looking for a place to go, the Dunes Resort and the Sandbar both offer free Thanksgiving. They bring turkey and people bring sides, and it's just a great place for people to gather if you're looking for a place to go. And I think it's a great thing. Both of those businesses do that every year, and I think that's very nice that they do that. And happy Thanksgiving. And then also, don't forget to shop small. I don't know if you've looked on, I just looked at a statistic that said that if we took 10% of our budget, our shopping budget, and kept it right here in Michigan, hundreds of millions of dollars would stay right here in Michigan, and it would create tens of thousands of jobs. So remember what the impact is when you spend your dollar. And we've got so many great stores here, from, budget friendly stores, bougie boutique stores, pet stores, and so many great things. So I just want to remind everybody to shop small and keep it in your own hometown.
Great. Scott.
Just wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see a number of you on Friday night.
Great. Go.
Same thing. Happy Thanksgiving. Also wanted to put a call out to DPW for all the great work they've done with the decorations and all the leaf pickup. They're on double duty. I know they're working really hard, and you can tell. So please pass it along. They do a great job.
Yes, thank you.
So thank you.
Chris.
Yes, thank you. reminder, Christmas Carol is going to be December 12th, 13th, and 14th, and 19th, 20th, and 21st. This will be the first year that my wife Jen has not been in the Christmas Carol for several years. So be kind of an odd year to not have all that going on. But anyway, just please support that event. It's a great event. All proceeds go to Christian Neighbors, and Steve and his wife Janice do a fantastic job. I can't think of a more traditional Saugatuck event. I think they're on year 40. Gregory, do we know 40?
37 or 38.
Okay,
I'll have the guys on the show. I think the first week of December, the cast will be on the show, but I think it's 38.
yeah, there's few events in this community that have been going on as long as that has, and I just, it makes me warm in the heart to think about this, and especially what Steve and Janice have done for our community, and everybody has participated. Just please attend, and I'll be going, and it'll be fun to watch it because Jen won't be in it, so.
And if you don't mind, if I could piggyback to remind folks, last year we gave a check of $10,000 to Christian Neighbors for the food pantry, and all of the proceeds go to Christian Neighbors.
Thank you. Yes, this Friday for the tree lighting, the star elves are ready. The star has been tested. Everything's good to go. We have another elf that's come aboard to give us some radios or loan us some radios to use on Friday nights. We'll be good to go on that. Fingers crossed, everything goes as planned. Happy Thanksgiving. I also want to mention that I got a text after our last workshop with the presentation on the warming station from a former council member who was very closely involved with the Mize Rose Garden family, the Mize family with the donation for the Rose Garden. And from their understanding is the Mize Rose Garden does have restrictions in terms of what can be done with it and the fencing and so forth. I know at the last meeting when you were away on PTO, Scott Herbert had mentioned that the document had been reviewed. I would personally like to see that to make sure that we're not overstepping our boundaries in terms of what the Mize restrictions might have been on that donation that they gave to the city. So just, that was brought from someone that was intimately involved with the process back when. So I just put that as a request. Thank you.
Chris?
Yes, I'm gonna miss the presentation and the cookies. Our 4 grandsons don't seem to want to see Santa that much anymore, so we're gonna go to Chicago. Anyway, happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, and I make a motion we adjourn.
I get my comment for. Oh, yeah. I'll keep it short, Chris, and I will look to you to make that motion. Just want to add, happy Thanksgiving, especially those of you traveling. Please be safe. Come back. And it'll be great. I'm looking forward to the tree laying. I've always been gone, for this time of year, but my sister came here this year, so I'll get to go, which is great. Thanks to all of you. Thankful for you. And Chris, would you like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
We're supposed to sign those?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, at the end, yes, if I manage to.